Hey everybody, welcome to Mondays with Mike. Big Monday here. It is back to school for tens of thousands of school kids across our area, including Houston ISD. So I bet they're all feeling like this, kind of grumpy. But I know that out of my three daughters, two of them started school last week. One of them still has about a week to go, so she's, I think, enjoying this. So coming up on Mondays with Mike today, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about serious flooding that took place in both Oklahoma and in Pennsylvania. Also, our local forecast, which includes very high heat, especially by the end of this week, along with some summertime pop-up thunderstorms. And then probably most interesting of all is our next tropical system that is right now forming in the Atlantic Ocean. But I wanted to start off with something that was pretty funny. It was a little embarrassing at the time. It wasn't that funny at the time, but there are a lot of trends, on TikTok, and this particular trend has to do with embarrassing your parents. And I fell right into the trap. So take a look.
Just give me my money. Yay! Just give me my money. Just give me my money.
Just give me my money.
Just give me my money. Yay! Just give me my money. Yay! Just give me my money. Just give me my money.
Just give me my money. So yeah, I bought that hook, line, and sinker. 100% I fell into the trap because, see, this is how they get you. This is how the children get you. They make you think like you're being a part of something cool. So they said, oh, Daddy, there's this trend on TikTok, but we need you to do it with us. And I'm like, oh, well, they want to include me in their little TikTok post. And I felt all proud for a minute. Which is why I went all out, with my little part, only to be completely let down, But the funny thing is, like, if you go through TikTok and look up that trend, the just give me my money trend, you'll find they do it to some moms, and some people do it to kids, and I don't like that because I think it embarrasses the little kids. I don't like that. But they do it to some moms, but it's mostly dads, and the reaction. The funny thing is, like, all dads do the same thing I did, which is that they want to outdo everybody else and just really do this silly accent and just really do it up big. And so, which makes it even more embarrassing. And I also saw, my favorite football player, of course, is Jameis Winston, the Florida State University national champion, and, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, great 5,000-yard passing, and then played for the Saints, and now hopefully he'll be the starter for the Browns this year. We'll see. He got pranked too by a couple of his teammates, and they posted it on his Instagram, and it was funny. And he did the exact same thing because, of course, he's a dad. He did the exact same thing where the two people did it. Just give me my money, and then he came on at the end and like overdid it, and he kind of sang at the end, like just to really overdo it, which made it even more humiliating. So. Anyway, it's funny. Okay, well, what's not funny is what's happening on the map right now with extreme flooding. I know, hard turn. Extreme flooding that's taking place in Oklahoma. So let me show you what happened yesterday. So this is a look, this is 24 hours ago, so this isn't the current radar, but I want to loop it through. So this is Sunday at 8:16 a.m., and then we're going to show how quickly all this moved out. So by the afternoon, this was completely gone. But here, as it was moving through, let me just zoom in here. As it was moving through this area here to the south of Oklahoma City, near Norman, Oklahoma, which of course is the home of the University of Oklahoma, and also where the National Weather Center is. That's where they have the Storm Prediction Center, and it's sort of like a regional headquarters for them. And you know, this, as the system moved through, it actually produced record rainfall at the airport in Oklahoma City. 6.5 inches of rain, which was a record for the day, and I believe it was one of the all-time rainiest days on record, you know, going back 100 years or so, maybe a little bit more than 100 years. And there was really serious flooding here around Norman and areas off toward the south. So I have this that I want to show you. So this is a look at Doppler radar estimated rainfall totals. And you'll see here that just south of Oklahoma City, near Moore, Oklahoma, about 7.4 inches of rain. And then down here, near McGuire, Oklahoma, Slaughterville, Oklahoma, that's an odd name, isn't it? Slaughterville, Oklahoma, about 11 inches of rain. Let's see, we also had about a 9.3 there near Cole, Oklahoma. And then finally down toward the south, we had near Wayne, Oklahoma, about 8 inches of rain. Now, all of that stayed, like Dallas had nothing. I mean, all of that was just to the north of Dallas. There also was some really heavy stuff over here by Tulsa. So there's Muskogee. Proud to be an Okie from Muskogee. Anyway, so there was also an area of about 8 to 10 inches of rain there. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty rough going. And now I also want to show you this. So that was just from a system here. Let me just show you, give you an idea of why that happened. And I'm going to put on a product here, which is the water vapor satellite imagery. So let me put this on GOES 16, water vapor, and I'll put this back and forth. And this is a look at the last few days. So I'll look back at yesterday. We can kind of even draw a little bit here. This is going to be an ugly drawing. But let's just say there's an area of high pressure right around here. You know, give or take right around there. And so you're going to have what they call ridge riders, which go around the outside of the high. You know, the high goes in this clockwise manner, and you're going to have these storms that go around the outside of the high, kind of like this. So there was one yesterday, and there was actually another one this morning that moved through a lot of the same areas, just riding around the top part of that ridge. Now, at this point, we're also expecting a little bit of an influence of this weather pattern in our weather for the day today, where we could see sort of a similar, maybe not quite as heavy, but then influence of that north wind coming in is just sort of destabilizing things just a little bit. All right, now I want to take you over to this area of the east coast of the United States. And so, of course, last week, you know, the big story of the week was the landfall of Hurricane Debby, which was, interestingly enough, the fourth storm of the year, the fourth Gulf Coast landfall of the year, because remember, it made landfall down here in Florida. And from there, sort of meandered off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina. And when all was said and done, this area just inland from Charleston, give or take about 1.5 feet of rain. And oh my goodness, look what was found on the Lumber River in South Carolina. We've heard about these, but rarely have we seen one recorded. Yeah, it is a floating anthill pile. Yikes. Nightmare. I mean, 1.5 feet. I mean, that's not quite Harvey, but I mean that is some tough stuff to deal with, no doubt about it. We've had that around here, unfortunately, a couple times this year. Over here around Wilmington and Jacksonville, North Carolina, over 16 inches of rain. There also were some streaks of heavy rain in Virginia, but this was one of the big concerns here was in Pennsylvania. So this is in central Pennsylvania, near the capital city of Harrisburg, and near York, Pennsylvania. There was a bullseye of about 8.3 inches of rain. And then also up here around Scranton, we had about 5.5 inches of rain.
We don't live down here. We don't live down here. We don't live down here.
Now here's a look at some pictures, again, from Pennsylvania that were posted from Fox Weather's Katie Byrne. Now Katie is one of our Fox Weather reporters, and she's based out of Pennsylvania, and so she loaded these pictures in. And boy, it looks a lot like Beryl, doesn't it? This is as a result of the effects of severe storms that were associated with the remnants of Debby as it made its way up the East Coast. And it really does look a lot like what we had here in Beryl, a lot of trees knocked down. Now, they had some flooding, as I just showed you, along with what we're seeing here, but this was just a terrible circumstance up there with high winds, knocking down trees, knocking out power. There were a lot of water rescues that had to be made, and the people up there picking up the pieces just like we did. Now, my family live in this general area here in the central portion of the screen, and they had some heavy rain too, but it doesn't look like nearly what they had elsewhere. And it moved into upstate New York too. So this was quite a whopper of a system when you look at the extent of the rain from Hurricane Debby, which became Tropical Storm and Tropical Depression Debby, from Tampa all the way up to Boston. From Tampa to Montreal, that whole area received pockets of some very, very heavy rain. So that's one of the, sort of like the story of the week for last week. So as far as what's happening here for this week, we're not really looking for the type of flooding that I just shared with you, but we will probably have a few pop-up thunderstorms in the afternoon for Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. The timing is generally after about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, maybe 2, in the afternoon. So there will be a few storms as the kids get out of school, and then there also could be some storms around for the afternoon commute over the next couple of days. And this is sort of the culprit, and also the culprit for the, as I just shared with you, the rain that we had in Oklahoma. High pressure is up there around Lubbock and Amarillo and around Wichita Falls. And so around the outside of that, you have this clockwise wind flow, and we're just on the edge of that. So even though we're technically under the influence of that high, and it is going to give us some hot air, no doubt about that, we're enough on the edge, and notice that there are a couple of ripples around the outside of this ridge of high pressure. For example, we have this low down here, and we have this low down here as well, and those are, they produce a trough, or what you can call like a weakness in the ridge, and that opens up a little bit better opportunity for seeing some rain. So with this in place, we are actually looking for some pretty hot weather ahead. And so let me show you that. This is a look at high temperatures for today, which is Monday, depending on when you're watching this. If you're watching it live, or if you're watching it recorded, this is the Monday high temperature outlook. About 97 here. A heat advisory is in effect today until 7 p.m. And notice we're looking for middle to upper 90s here. So it's not that the actual air temperature is going to be just extremely hot, but when you factor in the humidity, it gives you those heat index values of 105 to 108, which is the criteria for heat advisory around here. By the way, every weather service office in the country is going to have somewhat different criteria for their local issuing of heat advisories. And I've mentioned this before, like a heat advisory in Minneapolis is different than a heat advisory in Houston. Or you can use any city in the Midwest, Chicago, for example. Around here, generally, the criteria is 80 degrees or warmer in the morning, and then heat index of 108 or hotter in the afternoon. It could also be issued if there's extreme heat, even if it's dry, extreme heat in the afternoon. For example, if we're looking for a high of 105 degrees with low humidity, we'd probably be placed under a heat advisory also, or maybe an excessive heat warning or watch. But so today we're looking for highs, 97, San Antonio about 100, Del Rio around 104, and close to 100 for Midland and Amarillo. And tomorrow, even hotter across parts of Texas. So around here, notice those showers popping up. This is the futurecast that I have overlaid on top of this graphic. So highs tomorrow, near 100 in San Antonio, about 100 in Dallas, 103 Abilene, about 100 in Amarillo. So you'll see we're kind of building in that heat. And as we progress through the week, it's very likely we're going to get even hotter. So around here, let's say by Thursday and Friday, around here we're looking for a high of about 100 degrees, and it could get even hotter than that. In fact, I have my web browser open over here real quick, and I want to just check, just to give you an idea of, I'm just going to type in DFW here and look at our computer model data here and see what the models are showing us. So for example, in Dallas, 103 or so on Friday, about 105 on Saturday. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty wild. And then for San Antonio, just as another example, let's see. Let's pull this up. So I'm looking at the GFS computer model here. And let's see, SAT for San Antonio. And it doesn't want to cooperate with, here we go. So San Antonio is showing about 100 to 102 late this week. So we're going to get into that late week time frame where the entire state is above 100, and some places are 105, some places maybe 107. So we do have a lot of August heat on the way, no doubt. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the tropics, because I do have some interesting sort of statistics to give you, and then we'll take a look at what is likely Ernesto. All right, so now for a look at the tropics, we have, it's interesting, we've had 4 named systems already. All of them have made landfall on the Gulf Coast. And our friend, who we visited with last week on Forecasting with Friends, Peyton, who's a student at OU, I told her when she was here that I was really interested to see, when was the last time the first 4 storms of the year all hit the Gulf Coast? And she did some research, and she was able to determine that it was 2005, which was that notoriously busy year. It was the same year as Rita and Katrina and Wilma. But yeah, all 4 of those first storms hit the Gulf Coast. So there you go. So it's been 19 years since we've had that phenomenon happen. We had Alberto hit Mexico. We had Chris hit Mexico. Beryl hit Texas, of course. We're still picking up the pieces from that one. And Debby, as I just showed you, brought that line of extremely heavy rain from Florida through the Carolinas to Pennsylvania and points northward. This is Ernesto. Well, it's going to be Ernesto, very likely. Has not gotten upgraded as of Monday morning, but probably will become a tropical depression and then a tropical storm. Here's a closer look at what the storm looks like with what's called the floater imagery. So this is a sector. It's called like a mesoscale sector from the GOES East satellite, where it breaks down minute by minute, very high resolution imagery. So it lets us see what these clouds are looking like on the visible satellite and just how this thing is starting to develop. So on the right hand side of this screen is where you'll see where it's likely to develop a center of circulation. So we're going to keep an eye on that, obviously, through the day today. As far as its forecast is concerned, it is zipping along to the west at 26 miles per hour. So a very fast mover. From here, again, tropical storm strength, maybe even hurricane, but at least a tropical storm strength storm moving past islands like Antigua and St. Thomas, St. Croix, possibly making a landfall or at least close to it in Puerto Rico, and then beyond that becoming a hurricane, and I think it has a very good chance of becoming a major hurricane. Right now the Hurricane Center forecast has it at a Category 2, but look, all it needs to do is make it to 111 and it's a Cat 3, so very likely to become a Cat 3 storm, if not even a 4. It really could become a very powerful storm. Now, as far as what the models are showing us, let me go ahead and okay, we don't want to show the futurecast. I want to show you this, which is the longer-term futurecast. So I have 2 models that I'm going to show you. One is the European model, the other is the GFS model, and I want you to show you what they are depicting for us, and they are a little bit different. So here's the Euro model showing sort of a slower development of a tropical storm moving toward Puerto Rico by Wednesday at midnight, Tuesday night, Wednesday, and then now picking up speed, intensifying quite a bit on Thursday, and then potentially moving directly over Bermuda as a powerful storm coming up on Friday at 6 p.m. Now we turn our attention to the GFS model, which is also showing something similar. It's actually showing the storm farther to the south, though, passing to the south of Puerto Rico, and then therefore making a slower approach or a later approach to Bermuda. The GFS track, it would have more of an impact on Puerto Rico and maybe the Dominican Republic, bringing those areas some heavier rain. So anyway, that's the way things are looking here as far as the latest on the tropics. So that's about it. Went over the tropics, we went over the heat, we went over the flooding, all kind of stuff to talk about here on Mondays with Mike. Don't forget to join us for Forecasting with Friends, which is our daily Fox Local app weather show. That's Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Shout out to my mom and Neil down in beautiful South Florida, and I'll see you guys next time.